Bois. It looks like it comes to you first. Just to remind us of a little context, folks. We had a bloody civil war, which the North, of course, won, ending slavery, and a following Reconstruction period, which really was a nice decade in terms of civil rights. 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments are passed. The 5 military districts in the South from the federal government help blacks achieve a lot of gains. But when Reconstruction ends, things pretty much go back to normal. And though we don't call it slavery, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, with Jim Crow, with lynching, with voting obstacles, with sharecropping, we're basically in a situation of slavery by a different name. Du Bois, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and why you think your approach is best. Maybe we'll even start, what is your approach? Pretend we don't know anything. Tell us about what you believe, and go ahead.
Well, our name is w.e.b.dubois. And like, I'm from the North, you know, well-educated, black man, you know, graduate student from Harvard, first to do so, first black man to do so, you know. And I believe that a higher learning leads to a higher knowledge, which leads to a higher society. And that's what us black folks need as of now.
Good. Anything else to add from Du Bois for an opening statement? Or shall we, you want to?
No, I'm good.
Go to Washington. No. I actually kind of like that as an opening statement.
Yeah.
Higher learning, higher knowledge, higher society. Washington, introduce yourselves to us. Tell us what your philosophy is briefly.
Well, we are Booker T. Washington, and we believe that you cannot just jump to the top. There is a long path. As a slave, a former slave, hard work is understood. And we know that hard work is what's necessary to bring us to the top. There is no way without building a foundation that black people can thrive. There is no way.
Good. Well, I'll start with one question. Let me go back to Du Bois' team. You've put a lot of emphasis on political equality in a way that Washington hasn't. Washington, can you remind me of your institution again that you set up? Tuskegee. They do a lot of trade education. They do a lot of work on farming and construction and skills. In a lot of your work, and you guys actually helped found an organization, I believe it's still around today. What was that again? NAACP. You'd spend a lot of energy focusing on political issues. Why do you think that's important? Can you talk to us about why you think political rights, voting rights are important for blacks? Because when I was at Tuskegee, I didn't hear them talking much about voting or political rights. And up here in the North, I hear you guys saying a lot about that. Why is that important? Maybe someone else know it, or Bilal?
I think it's because the politics doesn't only talk about only diplomacy and military things. It also talks about economy. Basically, every law that's drawn affects the society, affects the money. So it's basically every aspect of black people's life that's going to be affected when they move, you know, politically. The other thing is, every change that comes in a society should come from the people. And like the people should bring the change by choosing the person they want to lead them, and by choosing the person who will draw a law that's going to work for them, not against them. So if people are going only, and Du Bois did not just say only politics, he also mentioned education, which means better economy and better sociology. So it's not only politics, but also social and economical, and the politics being emphasized in betters the society, because unless we demand something, why would anyone choose to give it? I mean, why would white people choose a law that would force them away from their job when we're struggling next to them?
And let me actually sort of re-emphasize that one line as I turn it over to a rebuttal from Washington. This is, I think, really at the heart of what we're talking about here. w.e.b. says, unless we force this issue, why would white society ever be willing to grant any improvements if we're sort of patient in the way that you guys suggest? Not an easy question. Diana, you want to tackle it a little bit?
Can you sort of repeat the question?
Sure. I think, w.e.b., why don't you make your last point again real quick?
Why would, just because black people are socially and economically saying let the politics go on and let the legislature just keep harassing us and we'll just socially challenge the society, why would white people say, okay, there should be a law that says every white man and black man should be paid equal money, when really they're just having a good time paying less money to the blacks? And all other aspects of things.
So I think he's suggesting maybe that if you don't have political power, if you're not really allowed to vote, then you're going to have laws in a country that are going to continue basically being unequal. I mean, I think the main issue between you guys is you've been more willing, Washington was more willing to be patient, and Du Bois, I think, felt the urgency of it. So I think w.e.b. is questioning your patience. He's saying, why would being patient really make any sense? You know, you seem, right, there's a part, isn't there the part in Washington's speech where he says something like, we must become friends with our neighbors, right? Let's be friendly with the southern white man. I think he's maybe saying, what the heck? Why would you just have faith in their friendship? Is that about right, w.e.b.? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. And don't worry, I've got a tough one for them, too. That is a tough one. Any response, Washington? Why would this patience make any sense in a society that has existed about, you know, dominating a black minority, for a couple hundred years already?
There was one point in society where blacks were gaining power. I mean, when Hiram Rebels was in the Senate, and that was part of, I don't know, forcing it in a way. But that didn't, if you think about it, that didn't last too long. So I mean, that way of going about it was only temporary.